Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. So I'm down here in the Woodyard splitting up a little bit more bundle wood. I just the other day I got hit pretty good, and it was actually right at the beginning of the holiday weekend. I got hit pretty good at the stand. So of course I had mentioned in that video that I wasn't going to get all excited about it, make no big deal, so I didn't hurry up and make a few more bundles to put in there to replace the inventory that I had hanging out in there. And wouldn't you know it, because I didn't put any wood down there, the little bit that I had left, I probably had, I don't know, 8 bundles down there, and I got 2 left now. So that's not hard hitting in comparison to a lot of the other YouTubers. However, it's out of the normal for me. So that's a good thing, you know, for the business is kind of picking up a little bit. It's also kind of giving me an idea of what season for me seems to be bundlewood season. So for as much camping and hiking and biking as there is in the Mount Tammany Ridge section of the Delaware River, you know, there is a lot of firewood being produced in this area, and a lot of it is being produced on whatever site they have set up and sent out to places to be resplit and turned into bundlewood and sold commercially. There's a couple different locations, I think, and just this very local area of about 8 miles that are pumping out some pretty serious cordage and bundlewood. So yeah, you would think that it would be kind of an all year round revenue stream, so to speak, for me to, you know, to set up a stand. However, it doesn't seem to be that way yet. So far, it seems to be in the cooler season, spring, just coming out of winter, and, you know, late summer going into fall and winter, things seem to kind of pick up a little bit, and then I will get more customers for semi-bulk, you know, doing 1/3 of a cord here and there. And this year, I don't think I'll be selling any semi-bulk. The only wood that I have is for me to use as far as semi-bulk. I have just enough, I think, to get me through a mild season. So we'll see how that goes. Knowing my luck, it'll probably be 25 degrees all winter. So, but yeah, that's what we have going on as far as bundlewood sales. I'm sure you can hear Bo up there going off and like a siren. But anywho, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, the actual main subject I would have to say for the video today, is this 37-ton champion splitter. I'm really surprised as to how much attention I get on the channel for really just the one champion splitter video. Well, I should say there's actually technically 2 specifically geared to this champion splitter, one of which was kind of like a first impression, short-term review, and you know, oil change, fluids, and all that. So it's generated a lot of comments and questions. I've gotten quite a few subscribers, thankfully, out of that video. So I just had a new subscriber message me in the comments talking about how he just went and bought a brand new champion splitter. I don't recall if he mentioned what the tonnage was, not that that matters. However, he must have been watching my videos earlier on, enough to know that, you know, I had been talking about, you know, some of the things about the splitter that I like and some of the things about this splitter that I don't like. Primarily, the thing that I really didn't care for initially was these tables here. These side tables are, they're trash. I'm just gonna say it. It's not a knock on the actual apparatus itself. However, the side tables are junk. They didn't last more than a day and a half of me using this thing. Now, the damage that is done to these is not from me picking up rounds and putting them down onto the side table. The damage is from little splinters and, you know, like where you have a branch where you got a knot or something, and when you're flipping around the wood processing it, one of those knots per se, say is my thumb, and it would come down in here and it would drop, and you wouldn't notice it coming, and the thumb would drop down into in between here, and it would catch like this, and as the splitter's pushing, that splinter's stuck in there and it's bending this whole thing this way. It literally, the first day this side happened, and then the second day it happened to both of them multiple times. So apparently the gentleman that had commented that he just bought one, he had mentioned that the side tables have been beefed up quite a bit, that they're much better, which is pretty cool. Not saying that my video and talking about it has anything to do with why it changed, though it would be pretty cool if it had something to do with it. Even a little bit would be really cool. However, my hunch is that it definitely had nothing to do with my video. But I wanted to congratulate the gentleman. I can't remember your name. I apologize off the top of my head. But thank you very much for watching the content and, you know, telling me about your new purchase. Congratulations on that. I think as far as the motor, the bones, the whole apparatus, other than these, you're really gonna like it. It's a pretty solid machine in the way of being reliable and the functional standpoint. However, the only caveat that I have, and I wanted to make this a point to mention to you and all the other viewers that specifically watch my channel, because of, you know, the champion splitter that I had showed early on. This rail here, okay, it's like a 90-degree bend, right? And it's welded along here. And the weld that they use, now I don't know if they're using a that new welding with was it like a laser or something like that. They've got these new laser welders, and I know that with mass production a lot over, you know, in Korea and things like that, it seems like it's a direction that they're going with their welding methods. And you can tell that it's like a laser weld with a computer, because the weld is very dainty. It's very small. So I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't get good penetration, but the problem is it's not the wire feed or rod that we use on our standard practices for welding. It's introducing more material to the molting metal that you're melting together, in addition, you know, so we're actually adding material to material that's already there. So I'm thinking that's probably why when you have like an American made or a Canadian made or something like that, some real heavy duty iron, that I think that's why you're getting better results out of those pieces of equipment as far as, you know, the likelihood of a weld failure. Now, this piece here, if any of you have watched the video, it was a short video. It didn't last very long, so I was pushing through, I was cycling through a piece of wood, and it was a very small piece of wood. It wouldn't, no, you know what? I think I remember splitting that to get over my fear of it happening again. So, but it was a very unassuming piece of wood. And, you know, it had a crotch in it, but it wasn't very big. It might have been 6 to 8 inches in diameter. It's kind of small and dainty. Didn't even see it coming. However, when I was cycling through, because of that knot, it resisted pretty serious resistance, and it actually kicked the blade clockwise toward me. And this front corner here, I'm hoping you can see this, this front corner here dug into this 90-degree channel, okay? It dug into it literally right here, and it just broke that weld right off. It just popped it right off. And I had a big bow, and you could see straight down alongside the I-beam and in between this this channel here. So I don't remember what I called the video. I think it's something, you know, 37-ton champion breaks or fails or something like that. And if you're interested to watch it, I have a video on the repair of me, you know, the video of me repairing this piece, how the method that I used to pull it back together, and then you know, I had to take the I-beam and the cylinder and everything off of the base with chains and a come along or an engine hoist, and I had to pick it up with the excavator and flip it around and weld it, you know, in a position that was comfortable for me. But we got it back together. So far, so good. It seems to be running just fine. We'll have to see over time if we have to revisit this situation that happened a little while ago. But another point I want to make is that this failure, even though I think it probably wouldn't have happened if the welds were more beefy, okay, I am going to assume blame for why this happened, okay? I said it in the last video during, you know, the repair video, and I'm gonna say it again. My feeling is that this would not have happened if I was using bar oil on the top of the beam here between the wedge and the beam. It would not have happened. Because it just wouldn't have gotten traction, because what happens is this area here gets a little rusty, and then you get chatter, and that chatter makes the plate go like this. And there's a little bit of slop up here where the pin goes through the ram on the cylinder, and it's always kind of been like that. It's never been a tight fit. It's always kind of had some slop just like that. It's always been like that. I'm sure it's gotten to be a little bit more since I've used it. But it's kind of always had slop in it. So that being said, that having slop in it, the rust making it chatter and jump side to side, that's more likely the reason why. So for the gentleman that just bought one, and all you guys out there that have these or thinking about getting one of these, and not just the Champion, I'm talking about all the box store splitters. I mean, unless there are other ones out there that are designed differently and it doesn't really require that kind of maintenance. On a style like this, where it's kind of like a recessed cavity here that this slides in and out of, or up and down, use bar oil. You're going to prevent having yourself a headache. And I know not everybody out there has welders or the ability to weld on their own premises to take care of something like this, kind of like a shoot from the hip DIY thing, right? So yeah, definitely don't want to be running this in the middle of your splitting session. So but that's all I have to say. I think I've rambled on long enough about this thing. You guys have yourselves a good evening. I appreciate you coming down here to Woodyard, hang out with me while I make this well, I'd say half of a face cord. I'll say a third of a face cord. I'll say a third of a face cord there. And you know, I'll probably tomorrow night I'll wind up bagging this stuff up and bringing it down to the stand. But anywho, thanks again for hanging out with me here at the Woodyard on the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. And you guys have a good evening. And if you could, hit that like button, share, subscribe maybe if you want to. Guys, have yourself a good night. I'll see you on the next video.